We are glad to see you on our channel again. Today we have a recap of the movie Ghost Rider from 2007. Sit back and enjoy the movie. To save his father from inevitable death, extreme biker Johnny Blaze accepts the devil's offer and makes a deal in which the price is his immortal soul. Eventually, the moment comes when the devil demands to fulfill the contract. He turns Johnny Blaze into a ghost racer, an agent of otherworldly forces with supernatural powers. It has been said that the West stands on legends, tales that help make sense of something scary or unfathomable. This is the legend of the Ghost Rider. Every generation is said to have one, a damned soul doomed to wander the earth and collect what is due to the devil. Many years ago, the Ghost Rider was entrusted to deliver in the town of San Venganza a treaty for 1,000 vile souls, but the power of the treaty was so great that the rider realized he could not be allowed to fall to the devil. He did what no one had ever done before him. He tricked the devil himself. Young Johnny Blaze and Barton Blaze are motorcycle stunt riders. After the show, Barton tells Johnny that he imagines he has learned everything. Johnny replies that he tried for the audience. Barton chuckles and says he knows who his son was trying for, alluding to the girl Roxanne Simpson. He asks who the boy will need if he becomes a cripple. Johnny in the village scratches out the initials of himself and Roxanne. Roxanne tells him that her father is sending her to live with her mother, and that he said that she and Johnny are not a couple. Johnny says that they will just leave together on a motorcycle, tomorrow at noon. Johnny comes home and sees a photo album in his sleeping father's hands. The guy throws away a pack of cigarettes, taking it out of Barton's hands, and notices a letter in the trash that says Barton has a cancerous tumor. Johnny is in the garage working on his motorcycle. Mephistopheles comes to him and says he was at the show today and liked the guy's performance. The man asks if Johnny would like to work for him. Mephistopheles asks if the guy is worried about his father, and says he could help him and cure his father in exchange for Johnny's soul. Mephistopheles pulls out a contract and says all he has to do is sign it. Johnny drops a drop of blood on the paper, and Mephistopheles says that's good enough. Johnny wakes up the next morning. He sees his father. Barton tells him that he has been ill but is feeling great now, and the doctor says the same thing, that he is perfectly healthy. They go to a performance. During the performance, Barton falls off his motorcycle on one of the stunts and is killed. Mephistopheles stands back and laughs ominously. Johnny rides home on his motorcycle and falls off it. Mephistopheles approaches him. Johnny tells the man that he is the one who took his father's life. To which Mephistopheles replies that he just saved his father from cancer. Mephistopheles says that one day he will need Johnny and he will come after him, but until then, he will keep an eye on the guy. Mephistopheles tells Johnny to forget about friends, family, and love, and that he belongs to him now. Johnny pulls up to where Roxanne is waiting for him, but looks at her and drives past. Johnny is a famous stuntman. He is known for surviving the most dangerous stunts and falls off his motorcycle. Johnny does another stunt, falls off his motorcycle, loses consciousness briefly, but then comes back to life as if nothing had happened. Johnny and his friends are watching a program on TV about his next show that says he's going to do an even more dangerous stunt. Mac says that after tonight's fall, the guy was supposed to play the box, but he's clearly being guarded by an angel. Johnny says maybe not an angel either. Blackheart, son of Mephistopheles, comes to a bar where angels congregate. Mac comes to visit Johnny and says that his house clearly needs a woman's hand. Mac says he has a conversation with a friend about performing for the anniversary of Johnny's father's death. Mac tells Johnny that the jump he is about to take is crazy. The guy asks what Johnny wants to prove to everyone with this and why he reads weird books about religion. Johnny asks if the friend believes that fate gives people a chance. He also says that he's waiting for a sign that through bad things can come to good things. Blackheart takes the life of a girl in a bar. He meets Gressel, Wallow, and Abigor and tells them that he has come for the Treaty of San Venganza, which legend has it was stolen and hidden in a graveyard. Blackheart tells the fallen angels to find the treaty so he can further subjugate the world by staging a coup against his father. Johnny prepares for the stunt. Mac tells him that he has checked all the designs, but the guy may not do it. Johnny goes out to the reporters and meets Roxanne among them, who interviews him. Johnny asks if the girl will stay for the show, but Roxanne says she doesn't like to watch such things and leaves. Mac is excited before the stunt that Johnny has decided to get the cars off the field, until he learns that the guy will be doing the stunt flying over helicopters. Johnny remembers his dad talking about this stunt. Instead of cars and fire obstacles, a helicopter. Johnny makes the jump and performs the stunt without incident. Johnny catches up with Roxanne's car. He starts doing stunts on the road and asks the girl to talk, but she doesn't agree. Then he brakes sharply in front of the car, forcing the driver with Roxanne to stop. The girl gets out of the car and says she has work to do and no time to socialize. Johnny says that they haven't seen each other in years, and she could have refused the interview, but she didn't. Roxanne says that Johnny was 17 years old, and there was a tragedy in front of him, so he ran away. She says she doesn't hold a grudge, but it's all in the past. Johnny kisses the girl. The couple makes dinner arrangements at a restaurant at 8 p.m. Roxanne is waiting at a table at the restaurant. She takes out a balloon and shakes it, asking a question, and gets an answer. Johnny stands in front of the mirror and spells out that you can't live in fear and that he is the best of the best. Then he sees something strange happening to his hands. Johnny goes outside and meets up with Mephistopheles. Mephistopheles shows him the bike and tells him that he has always been by the guy's side on all of his stunts. Mephistopheles says that the day has come and wants Johnny to find Blackheart and destroy him. He pronounces that if Johnny succeeds, he will get his soul back. Johnny's motorcycle accelerates and he rushes through the streets, leaving a trail of fire behind him. A policeman at the edge of the road measures Johnny's speed with a meter and the number goes over 200. Johnny blows him away as he drives by. Blackheart with Gressel, Wallow, Abigor come to the place where the cemetery used to be, and find out that it has been moved long ago, and only the church knows where it went. Blackheart takes a man's life. Johnny turns into Ghost Rider and meets Blackheart. There is a fight between the guys, during which Ghost Rider is pinned down by a bus, but he still survives. Ghost Rider takes Gressel's life. Roxanne is at a restaurant drinking wine alone. Ghost Rider sees a guy on the street taking a girl's bag from her and stands up for her, taking the guy's life. Ghost Rider arrives at the cemetery and turns back into Johnny as the sun rises. Johnny wakes up in the morning at the cemetery. A man in a hat and carrying a caretaker shovel tells Johnny that everything that happened in the night is real and will happen again. He says that Johnny is a Ghost Rider and that the guy should get used to it, or he'll find a place in the cemetery. Mephistopheles says that Ghost Rider has been seen and that the guy won't make it through the next night without his help. Roxanne films an interview about the murder at the bar and at the spot where the cemetery used to be, but no one gives her any comment. Caretaker tells Johnny that Ghost Rider is a servant of the devil and he is after everyone who escaped from the underworld. Caretaker says that during the day, the guy will be like all humans, but at night, when faced with evil, he will turn into Ghost Rider. Caretaker says the last Ghost Rider lived 150 years ago in the town of San Venganza. Caretaker says that Blackheart and the fallen angels can't enter the lighted earth. Johnny pronounces that he made a fool's bargain and got only grief in return. Johnny arrives on the scene. Roxanne interviews the girl he rescued during the night. The girl tells him that her rescuer was on a cool bike and was on fire and his head was like a skull. Johnny approaches Roxanne and says that he wants to apologize for yesterday. The girl pronounces that yesterday made her think about everything. Roxanne says that she didn't know how to get over him leaving then, but she did, finished her studies and got a job, while Johnny remained a circus clown. Roxanne says that her father was right and that it was just a childhood hobby. In the evening, Johnny is at home reading in a book about fire control. Roxanne walks in and tells him that she is leaving today and does not want what she said to her to be the end of their relationship. Roxanne kisses Johnny, but he pulls away and says it's not the right time. Roxanne says the guy made a date with her but didn't show up, keeps pictures of her, but dreads the kiss. She asks what's wrong with him and says he can tell her everything. Johnny says he sold his soul to the devil and now works for him. That's why he didn't show up at the restaurant. Roxanne says that it's apparently easier for a guy to make up such nonsense than to tell her the truth. The girl leaves, and the police come to Johnny's house. Captain Dolan at the station shows Johnny pictures of the dead and says that Johnny is to blame. Officer Edwards tells Johnny that they are asking him to help himself. Johnny says that he did not take anyone's life, and they put him in a cell with the other criminals. They begin to abuse Johnny, and he turns into Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider escapes from the station on his motorcycle. Blackheart comes to the church to see the Holy Father. Ghost Rider is being chased by police officers. Roxanne sees through the window Ghost Rider riding up a multi-story building to the top of the building. Blackheart is on the roof telling Ghost Rider that he better be on their side. Ghost Rider grabs Blackheart with his fire chain and begins to rush down the wall of the house with him. The cops shoot Ghost Rider, but he cannot be taken out of his life. Roxanne recognizes him as Johnny. Johnny arrives at Caretaker's house and tells him that everyone knows who he is. He asks the man to explain to him what this is all about. Caretaker shows the man's grave and tells him that he was a good man, but he went to prison. A stranger appeared to him and promised him freedom, so the man became a Ghost Rider. The man stole the San Venganza Treaty. Now Blackheart has come to find that treaty. Caretaker advises Johnny to stay away from all family and friends who could be used against him. Roxanne meets with Mac at Johnny's house. They are both looking for him. Mac says that if Johnny's arrest is reported in the press, his career is over. Roxanne says that she loves Johnny and wants to help him. Mac recalls that lately Johnny has been reading strange books and writing things down. Johnny arrives at Roxanne's cameraman and asks him where the girl herself is. Roxanne is reading books. Mac takes his life, and Blackheart renders at Johnny's house. Blackheart says that Johnny gave his heart to Roxanne, and he will break it. Johnny arrives home. He starts to fight Blackheart and turns into Ghost Rider. Blackheart says that Ghost Rider's look doesn't scare him because he doesn't have a soul. Blackheart pronounces that he was told to come back, but he isn't going back. Blackheart says that his father was wrong to think Ghost Rider was cooler than him, and he doesn't know who to laugh at better, Ghost Rider or his father. Ghost Rider turns to Johnny. Blackheart says that now Johnny is not working for his father, but for himself. Blackheart tells the hero to get the treaty, bring it to San Venganza, and then maybe he will spare Roxanne. Johnny arrives at the cemetery and asks Caretaker where the treaty is. Caretaker pulls out the treaty hidden in a shovel handle. Caretaker pronounces that the San Venganza Treaty is hell on earth. Johnny says that the man needs to believe him, and that even though he sold his soul to the devil, his spirit is free. Caretaker pronounces that anyone who has been able to sell their soul for love has the power to change the world. He also says that Johnny is dangerous to Mephistopheles because he is unpredictable. Caretaker says that San Venganza is 500 miles away, and it's time to go. Caretaker saddles his horse and turns into a fiery skull himself.
Let's ride.
The men ride to San Venganza. Caretaker says that this is the end of his journey, and that his powers were only enough for one transformation. Caretaker says that he messed up and then tried to make things right, and now all he has to do is hope that God will credit his efforts. Johnny pulls into the town and is immediately jumped by a guy who starts choking the hero and drowning him. Johnny shows him Ghost Rider's face and is saved. Blackheart tells Johnny that Roxanne will die if he transforms. Johnny pulls out the contract and shows it to Blackheart. Blackheart throws Roxanne off. Johnny waits until Blackheart touches the treaty and transforms into Ghost Rider. A fight ensues between the heroes. Blackheart reads the treaty, and souls begin to fly to him. Roxanne tells Johnny that they need to run. Johnny pronounces that he has to lure Blackheart into the shadows because he signed the treaty. Roxanne helps Johnny, and gives him a weapon. Ghost Rider takes Blackheart's soul. Mephistopheles appears and says that Johnny has fulfilled his part of the pact and therefore he is taking Ghost Rider for himself. Johnny says that he will now live with this curse and turn it against Mephistopheles. They say the West stands on legends and they give insight into something bigger than ourselves.